Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, it's time to talk Godzilla X Kong sequels. And everybody's feeling really good about a sequel now, especially after another great weekend at the box office for Godzilla X Kong. Pretty big drop. I believe it was a little over 60%, but still in 2 weeks, the movie has made in excess of over $300 million, close to 350. They're predicting that by the time it's out of theaters, it'll be anywhere between $500 to $600 million. And it's going to turn a pretty decent profit, especially considering that the budget for the movie was only $135 million. So we are well on our way to at least reach the requirements for a sequel. Obviously, no sequel has been announced yet, but everybody's feeling good. Everybody's feeling optimistic, and there's a good reason to. Now, hopefully, if they do plan a sequel, they'll let us know a little bit sooner than 1 year later, because last time we had to wait a year before we even had whispers, and it was even over a year before we even got official word. So, but I think knowing that the movie made the money that it made, I think everybody's feeling pretty confident, which would help, even if we did have to wait so long. But that is not why we're here today. You guys know the box office. I know you guys keep up with that stuff. It's Wednesday. You've known by now. We're going to talk about sequels and having like a little plan here that I'm going to drop this week. So I'm going to have about 3, maybe 4 sequel idea videos coming up in the coming days. And what I'm going to do is on Friday, I'm going to put up a poll as to which of those ideas you want me to actually go into detail and do a bit of a story on it. Or not a story, but something we used to do in the past here is I would do like a version of one of the sequel ideas, and I'd go into detail, plots, monsters in it, where it goes. So we're going to do that Friday. By the time that comes, you'll have at least 3 to 4 videos. I have a 4th idea, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to do it yet. So even if I don't do it this week, I'll do that one next week. But I have at least 3 solid ideas. And this one, my idea is for a Godzilla X Kong Destroy All Titans sequel. Now, this one starts off a little bit lukewarm tonight. I know a lot of you guys want the big epic, but hear me out here. We're gonna have all that. Everybody's gonna have their flavor. And this idea for a Destroy All Titans, I would call it, because I think that's what Legendary probably would call it. Would be something where we kind of leverage and catapult off the idea that the world governments and humans in general are pretty sick and tired of the Titans. And my idea for this movie, again, it starts off very, you know, I know it's not as exciting as some people would want, but the reason for this is because there are narratives that have already been established in the Monsterverse that humans are getting a little bit annoyed with the Titans always kind of messing stuff up. And we saw highlights of this in King of the Monsters when they dropped a prototype for the Oxygen Destroyer. And of course in Godzilla X Kong, you could see that the government was coming down hard on, you know, Monarch, in terms of at least having an idea or controlling or having some sort of control over the Titans, or not control rather, but at least having a better prediction of their activity, you know, how they're going to behave, are they going to act out, and that if they didn't get this under control, that they would take over. So I think with these kind of elements already there, you could easily make a movie where the world governments are just sick and tired of all these monsters and it's time to destroy them all. And considering where the technology has gone with this Monsterverse, when you look at where it started in 2014 to where it is now, I don't see any reason why the American military, or if you want to do the world military, or they develop some sort of special military force worldwide that specifically targets Titans, wouldn't be able to develop a weapon that could kill them. We've seen in the movies that Legendary has shown that weapons can be somewhat effective, but don't necessarily do any significant damage. You know, the monsters react to being hit. They don't seem to like being hit by missiles and things like that, but ultimately it doesn't really do anything to them. So the idea that they could develop a stronger weapon or a stronger arsenal to take down Titans would, I think, is more than feasible. Now, this doesn't mean that this idea wouldn't contain other new monsters, or I don't have ideas in this scenario to bring in another monster, be it Toho, an original creation. But I did want the premise of this to be that humanity is getting sick and tired of it. And I would love in this movie to finally show Titans kind of fighting back, and instead of just being at certain places and accidentally destroying cities, showing some intelligence, showing the Titans actually attacking certain military facilities to kind of weaken the offensive strategies of the opposition. I think something like that would be awesome, would be cool to see. And of course, I would want to include Titans that we haven't seen, that many people want to see on screen, even if it is for a short period of time. It wouldn't be as short as like the cameos we saw in King of the Monsters, but it wouldn't be as long that it takes up like a good significant part of the movie. And then, and I don't want to go into too much detail because, like I said, if this one is voted, then I will go into detail on it on Friday. Whichever ones are not voted, I will then do another video going into detail of how I would do the movie if I was given the script. So yeah, I think that would be one scenario that is more than a possibility. And again, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get some of the things you want, but the main focus would be the humans. How Monarch would play a role in this would be very, very interesting, I think, because on one hand, obviously Monarch is made up of humans. You know, they obviously would want to preserve life, but at the same time, Monarch's mission has been to primarily find these Titans, study them, learn about them, treat them like animals, or look at them as some sort of deities in some regards. So they would be put in a very difficult position because Monarch would never deliberately attack monsters, but at the same time, they wouldn't just let humanity suffer at the hands of Titans. I think it all depends on who would strike first, you know, in this movie. And I think obviously the humans would strike first. They would probably take advantage of the fact that most of the Titans are not necessarily hostile and try to catch them off guard. And I think at that point, Monarch would probably be on the side of the Titans, but at the same time, still trying to preserve life and try to find a way to peacefully balance this relationship. And I think it is great if you can convey to some extent how real life humans would react in this movie. It would be brash, it would be rushed, it would be without much thought, it would be without console. You know, no matter how much Monarch tells them, they're not going to listen. They weren't really listening in King of the Monsters when they had that scene with Serizawa and Dr. Graham, and they're in that courtroom, and you could see the reluctance of the United States military and the politics and the politicians to take them at their word. So taking that into account and then blowing it up to a whole nother proportion, I mean, there you have it. You know, that's when you're going to run into these problems, and then eventually the military is just going to take action without any regard to what Monarch has to say or what they think they should, what they think they should approach the situation. So I think that's probably a good premise and a good start for a destroy all Titans kind of scenario. And then once you get the premise and the idea down, then you start throwing in the lovely monsters and other things you wanted. I would probably definitely throw in a lot of shots of like the Titans we haven't seen. I have some more specific ideas, like I said, in terms of how this plays out, what other monsters make an appearance, and how this affects Godzilla and Kong and the world as a whole. But again, I want to save that for either the live stream or video next week. I just kind of want to do this video to kind of see where you guys stand and see what some of you guys have to say about a Destroy All Titans. I know a lot of you, I'm going to see a lot of the same comments. Oh, I want to see this Toho monster. I want to see that Toho monster. So I get that part. So that goes without saying, but I'm interested to see what some of you would think of if the sequel was a Destroy All Monsters type movie, or Destroy All Titans, if Legendary would ever do it and call it that, and how you feel about the main conflict being the humans and the monsters, and how Monarch plays a pivotal role. I think the Monarch angle is probably the most interesting for me to think about, because again, they're put in a tough position. So, but anyway, yeah, that's it. So if you like this idea and you want to see me flesh it out in detail on Friday night stream, be sure to arrive at the stream to vote in the poll. I'm going to put the poll up during the scheduled time so everybody can vote before the stream actually starts. And then we can take it from there. But remember, I have at least several other ideas that I'm going to be doing videos about over the coming days. So make sure you might want to hear those out before you make your decision. But until the next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.